so going to turn the wheel a little bit different here, mate. We're going to talk about the World Championships that have just been on in Paris, well, a little bit while ago. Our next guest, bronze medalist there, if you don't mind, mate, in the T38 classification, 1,500 metres, one of your great strengths as a runner. Angus Hincksman joins us. Angus, how are you, mate?
I'm good, how are you?
Firstly, congratulations on your bronze medal, mate. Well done.
Thank you.
Mate, the training journey for you has been an interesting one. We'll have a quick chat off air before you came on. 1,500 metres, then you also ran in the 400 and the 800. I can understand the 800 and the 1,500, but the 400, mate, it's just a horrible distance to run, and you're pretty good at all of them.
Yeah, it was, 400 is not what I usually do. It was more of a...
It's not what any sane person does, 400, mate. It's the worst.
yeah, it's definitely not fun. You definitely have to deal with a lot of lactic, but I think it didn't really affect me for my 15, and I just enjoyed getting out there, to be honest.
So, mate, for you, cross-country running at about 9, I think I read for you, that's where the love for running started. Still cross-country run now, or can't fit it into the program?
I try to in the winter season. I always feel like it's a pretty good start-up for my athletic season. Enjoyed it ever since I was younger. I've done a lot of sports over like... Jeez, this is difficult.
You're pretty old now, mate. You've done a lot of sport. You've got a favourite outside of running? Was there one that grabbed you? Was it footy? Was it soccer, cricket, basketball? You've played all of them.
Yeah, I've played a few sports. Played footy through school. I played soccer through school. Used to do a bit of swimming because they have a pretty good para space in swimming. So I started off there, moved into athletics later on. But I've always pretty much been doing something through sports.
If you had a choice, if they said to you tomorrow, mate, you're going to run in one, 400, 800, 1,500, where are you going?
I'd have to pick 1,500.
The 1,500?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why?
I just think the event's great. It's not too short.
Yeah.
It's got to be a bit longer. I think the tactics involved, the ways to run it is it's a very deep event, especially in my classification. We've got 3 Australians, and the way the event's grown over the past 10 years in the para space has been massive.
Hey, mate, last year I read there was a race, a school championships race. There's only 3 Aussies that have ever done it, run 1,500 in under 4 minutes. You were close, didn't quite get there. I think you were 3 seconds over.
Yeah.
But then a month later, you broke it.
Yeah.
What was that moment like for you?
It was
you won at 3, you won at 4 now. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was quite surreal. I came into that race with a lot of pressure on myself, so not getting it left me in a bit of a slump there for a while, but cracking onto it a month later and being able to get that was a bit of a relief, I would say.
Mate, I'm interested in that because you know the one where you build yourself up for it, and there was a lot of build-up around that for you, so there's the expectation and the pressure that you're going to do it, and then you don't get there. You touched on it, you're kind of frustrated, angry, don't love it anymore, and then a month later you could spin it around. What do you reckon was the big turning point in that 4 weeks?
I think just staying on top of my sport, staying consistent, and the support crew around me really helped me through most of that point of time. I was struggling to, I guess, find my lack for running at that point, and staying in contact and staying grounded, I guess, was the best way to do it. And consistency was really the key for me.
Mate, your training load, we touched on that before with cerebral palsy, is one that you have to be careful of because of the injuries and you've been reasonably fortunate or outstanding with your recovery stuff.
And preparation.
Tell the viewers a little bit about how it is for you.
So pretty much had a brain injury when I was born that gave me cerebral palsy, spastic diplegia, so it pretty much affects my calves and my right side and my arm. And it affects larger muscle groups, so it makes them underperform necessarily, which can overload smaller muscle groups, which means I have to be staying on top of my recovery, my training effects, making sure I'm listening to my body and staying close to my coach and telling him what's up so he knows what he has to do through his training programs, recovery programs and things like that, so I can perform at my best. You know, when you go to the Worlds in Paris, and obviously you go through the heavy work phase and then you start to come out to the tapering phase. In the heavy work phase for you, how hard is it to monitor the workload for you? It's pretty good. We've obviously got a lot of technology these days with Garmin, heart rate monitors and things like that, but I think with cerebral palsy, it's really, I've had to crack on to listening to my body and doing things like that and making sure I'm communicating with coaches and my family as well.
You a good traveller, mate?
I try to be. Dad travels a lot. He's given me a few tips.
Yeah, you would have been to some amazing places.
Yeah.
Where have you been? What have you been doing?
Last year I went to Arizona for about a month. Never been to the States, and that was certainly an experience, travelling.
Yeah.
A lot of stresses going through massive airports like that. You can get lost pretty easily.
Yeah.
Went to England for a little bit between my training camp in Arizona and Paris. That was also a very different experience, travelling and seeing all those different cultures and all the different places like that. It takes you out of your comfort zone. You got to get used to it.
Well, that's my point. That's what I was going to ask you, mate. How you cope with? You've never been to the States before. You rock up in Arizona. You've been going, wow, look at that, look at all this. Rather than let's focus on the running. So you've obviously got good support, good crew behind you to be able to perform when you do go to these places.
Yeah, that was it was certainly something I was expecting. I actually came into that training camp in Arizona and was very unwell. The first 2 weeks of my training was pretty interrupted, and I had to really buckle down and make sure I stayed focused and train harder in the back end of it to make sure I actually got the effect out of my training program.
So the Arizona, mate, is seen, it's the desert, and it's got altitude training, so you've got heat with the altitude, which they talk about being really beneficial for all sports. Was it the heat that got you or the altitude that got you?
I would say it's more the altitude.
Yeah.
In Phoenix, I'm pretty sure at the time they were having a heat wave, so that was something we definitely had to deal with. But yeah, I think just making sure I'm comfortable in a scenario or situation.
Could you feel the benefits after?
Yeah, most certainly. I train in Perisher up in New South Wales, which is pretty much Australia's version of altitude training, and the difference between that was insane. It was about 1,000 metres difference, and you could tell.
Yeah. What was the biggest change that you noticed in the month in Arizona to then go into Paris?
I would say the prices of everyday products. The food was different.
Yeah. And the training though, the training in the altitude and the heat, then going into Paris, what do you reckon helped you the most in that 4-week period?
I would say, just building the aerobic base. You can see it as soon as you come down from altitude, it's immediately different.
Yeah.
I would say living everyday life in Arizona is hard. Going up the stairs, I was getting puffed, I was feeling tired, and coming down, you feel like a bit of an animal.
Yeah, I found for me at the end of it, I had the benefit, but then it fell away pretty quickly after that. How long do you reckon before it dropped off for you?
There's a bit of research. I've been told it's different for everyone. Some people can lose the effect quicker than others. Some people run their best 2 weeks off. But I think 4 weeks up there will give you the longest standing time.
What's next, Angus? What's coming up?
Aiming for the Paralympics in August next year. So I think we'll be doing pretty much the same things as what we did this year.
A lot of work to do before then.
Can you tell me about the Tier 2 scholarship that you got awarded this year that's part of the Sport Australia Hall of Fame? How's that helped you?
That's been incredible, helping me with funding and travelling. I've had the ability to contact some amazing sports people and have them mentor me through this pretty interesting year and different year, and having them help me with balancing my schoolwork was massive as well.
Mate, talk about the mentor program that they bring. Who's mentoring? Who's the mentors for you?
I didn't have a particular mentor, but I got to talk to a lot of different sporting stars. I got to talk to a beach volleyball player who won gold in 2000, how she dealt with the media.
Yep.
And I thought that was pretty helpful heading into the all schools, especially with that media coverage that I'd never really dealt with before.
Mate, Dion Kenzie, we all have idols growing up, that you would have mimicked as a cricketer, me as a basketballer, you as a track. And normally with your idol, you're just in awe of them. You don't normally beat them.
You don't want to beat them.
Well, Angus has done that.
He's done it.
I was just wondering, tell us about that, mate. Dion Kenzie, you got a race against him and then you finally beat him. What's that moment like?
Yeah, it was pretty surreal. It was quite unexpected at the time, but he's been incredible. I've trained with him a fair few times. Every time I'm away, I'm training with him. And he's always been a great support.
Well, Angus, it's great to hear your story, mate. Well done on the bronze medal, mate. I know the track season's about to start here October 26th, I think, in the back of my mind. That sounds right. So not long and you'll be back in amongst it. Next year's a big year for you, mate. So appreciate you coming in. We'll track you. Keep an eye on your progress, mate. And hopefully we'll get you back next year and you can tell us how you won a gold medal. So Angus Hincksman was our special guest. Stay with us.